Some of the messaging I've been sending out is, make sure you have your grab and go. This is what's happening. Please check on our more vulnerable neighbors.
British Columbia's Fraser Valley is under a state of emergency after an atmospheric river drenched the area. Hundreds of properties are under evacuation orders and alerts. The city of Abbotsford declared a state of local emergency, while torrential rain and debris has cut off all major highway access from the Lower Mainland to the interior. So for more on this, let's bring in the CBC's Hilary Johnstone. There have been some updates just in the last few minutes. What's the latest?
That's right. And all of this, of course, because of that intense downpour that region received over a 24-hour period. I do want to go through some of the most recent updates for people in British Columbia who may be impacted by this, and then we'll look at the bigger picture here. But just in the last few moments, we have heard from the town of Princeton, BC, that they have issued an evacuation alerts for some parts of that community, including downtown Princeton. They say that floodwaters pose a threat to life and safety. Impacted people must be ready to leave the affected area on short notice. So that is very important for people in the Princeton, British Columbia area to know. We also have an upgraded warning at this point, a flood warning. It had been previously a flood watch for the Tulameen River. They've also issued a flood warning for the Similkameen River tributaries, including headwater tributaries and upstream. This is an area upstream of Princeton, BC. So certainly important updates for folks in that area to be taking into consideration. So much rain has fallen in the past couple of hours, 24 hours. A lot of this flooding, including the flood sirens that we've heard in communities like Abbotsford, which you're looking at right now, a lot of this is coming from Sumas, Washington. So that is about 7.5 kilometers to the south. And officials are urging people to evacuate because of that flooding danger, because of the fact that the water levels could continue to rise and these rivers could spill their banks. Now, we do have a little bit of positive news. It would seem that some of the heaviest rainfall has now stopped this morning, Thursday morning. And what we have heard in some communities, including from the mayor of Chilliwack, that he has not heard of any major flooding in his particular area. And of course, a lot of people will be thinking about that November 4 years ago when some of these same communities had massive flooding, very devastating to properties, to farms, to businesses, and to people's homes in that region. And some of the numbers here are still big. Hope, British Columbia, for example, Environment Canada estimating here that they received 140 millimeters of rain at the Hope Airport from Wednesday into today. So that is obviously quite a bit of rain for that region itself. I do want to play just a little bit of what we heard just a short time ago from Canada's Federal Minister of Emergency Management and Community Resilience, talking about the flooding that we have seen in British Columbia and whether or not she has received calls for help from her provincial counterparts. Here is what we've heard from that federal minister.
Of the floods at the present time, and I've been in touch with my emergency management counterpart in the province of British Columbia, and no federal assistance has been asked for or is required at this time, but I continue to monitor. Thanks so much.
I know the audio was not great, but she's essentially saying there that she has not had a request for help at the federal level yet, but that they are still waiting to see if a request like that were to come. Now, even though we are saying here that it would seem that some communities have escaped the potential worst here, officials are still warning that there is the potential for things to become bad. And it's part of the reason why they are encouraging people to have a grab-and-go bag ready. So just quickly, we'll go through some of those details. Ready to eat food and water, first aid, toiletry, glasses, medications, phone chargers, extra batteries, flashlights, all of those sorts of things that you might need if you're in one of these areas where there is still the potential for things to become bad.
And what about road closures? We were talking about how there have been some highway closures and some other impacted roadways as well.
That's right, because at one point there was really no access from the Lower Mainland into parts of the interior. So these are some of the most recent updates that we have. I want to go through some of them. British Columbia Highway 7. So the highway at this point remains single lane alternating traffic. That is 1 kilometer west. This is due to rocks on the road in this particular area. We also have an update here about Highway I-99 between Pemberton and Lillooet, BC, advising here of adverse weather conditions and debris on the road. Debris on the road is one of the big concerns that officials have had from rivers, of course, swelling, and then that water and debris being carried in some cases onto these highways. And then when we're talking about Highway 1 here, so the highway has fully reopened between, Yale and Lytton, BC, in the Fraser Canyon corridor following adverse weather conditions earlier.
Thanks for this, Hillary.
Thank you.
CBC's Hillary Johnstone reporting.